$2 Tuesdays at wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Hey guys, welcome in, and a very, very happy January the 10th here, 2023, and we've got a lot of college basketball on our minds here as conference play ready to go. We said goodbye to college college football rather last night, and it's all going to be college basketball from here on out. And what a card here tonight. We're going to try to break down a few of these games, see if we can find some angles and edges for you. And, of course, we'll have a few best bets along the way with three of the absolute most profitable at wagertalk.com as we welcome in, I believe for the first time this season, I don't know if he took a left-hand turn, clicked on the wrong button, but Marco D'Angelo in the house here today, as is RR1L Merrill, Steve Merrill here, and a very, very happy birthday to one Dave Koken here this week, celebrating the birthday and opportunity, guys, to hop on board with Dave, who also happens to be the $2 handicapper, and he has got himself a $5 best bet for $2 right now over at wagertalk.com. He also happened to be number one on those 5% best bets last year. So a lot to unpack here today. But Marco, welcome in, my man. Welcome to the 2023 college basketball tip-off show. What's going on, man? What do you got? What do you got rolling here tonight on this January 10th?
Well, guys, I lay low with college basketball until we get into conference play and wrap up the football season. So hence my debut on the college basketball show today, and looking forward to hanging out with you guys. And yes, a special happy birthday to Mr. Dave Koken. And, Dave's got, job security here at Wager Talk, because as long as he's older than me, he's always got a position here at Wager Talk. Keeps me from being the oldest guy. But I say that with the utmost respect for Dave. He's a legend in the industry, and glad to have him on the Wager Talk team.
Marco, not even trying to slide in unnoted. He just taking shots right off the bat. Love it. Merrill, what's going on, my man? Nice weekend here. And, of course, plenty of college hoops here, NBA action as well. What do you got ready to roll at Wager Talk?
Yeah, it was a great college football season, and we finished it off right with Georgia, about as easy as it gets. Joe, that was probably the greatest sharp square divide I've ever seen in the past 26 years that I've been doing this. The bad news was that everyone thought they were an expert when TCU beat Michigan. We lost with Michigan, but I knew that set up an even stronger play to go against TCU the next time. And not a top four team. I'll say it one final time as we turn our attention to college basketball now. But yeah, college hoops, great time of year. It's funny, college football ends and boom, we got a nice, powerful Tuesday card, like you said. I've got a strong best bet tonight in college hoops, a 40-5 ATS super situation, which you get in the analysis, along with some NBA as well. Steve Merrill, wagertalk.com.
Awesome stuff there. And I knew you were looking forward to that revenge barking back at people last night, Merrill. Dave, a very happy birthday to you. Again, the $2 handicapper today, 5% best bet in the NFL. And I had to look twice, Dave, because it's been a while since I've seen a 5% best bet in the NFL from you. You were number one all last year in your 5% best bets at Wager Talk, but 78%, and this is the first 5% NFL best bet in almost 2 years, Dave. Is that right?
Yeah, 20 months.
Wow.
So obviously I happen to like the game a lot in any sport for it to be 5%. And hopefully this one's going to get there. We'll see. Marco's comment was factual. I will be 70 on Thursday. Rather daunting number, but yeah, it is what it is. And I'll be leaving everybody in the dust as far as the age number goes.
That's all right. Listen, we stopped buying candles a long time ago in this house. So it's one candle and that's it, man. We were saving them here. But happy birthday. And again, guys, that $2 5% best bet in the NFL this weekend is available right now over on Dave's page. Hop on over, grab it for $2 as we roll on into college basketball. And we're going to start with a big ACC matchup here tonight, as North Carolina heading to Virginia to take on the Cavaliers. -4.5 is what we're seeing. 133 as a total in this one. 9 o'clock Eastern time tip-off. It's been a up and down North Carolina season. And boy, oh boy, Virginia started out great, Marco. But once those three-point shots stopped falling, they've run into a couple of roadblocks here. What do you think of this matchup here tonight at home for Tony Bennett's crew?
Yeah, like you said, North Carolina, they got off to the quick start. Then they had a 4-game losing streak in the middle, and now they're back winning again 6 of the last 7. But for Virginia, they're going to remember this is a veteran team. Tony Bennett's got a lot of guys back from last year's squad, and they remember 2 beatdowns they took from North Carolina. And when handicapping this one, it's a contrast of style. We know what North Carolina wants to do. They want to play a game in the 80s, where Virginia would much prefer to play a game in the 60s. And there's where the handicap is. Who's going to be able to instill their pace in the game? Playing at home, I think it's going to be Virginia. I mean, the knee-jerk reaction when you look at North Carolina getting this number against the team, Virginia, that doesn't score a lot of points, knee-jerk would have you leaning up to grab the points, but I'm not going to do it tonight. I will say this much. Of the 3 games we're going to break down on the card, this is probably my weakest of the 3, but I do like Virginia. I'm going to lay the points. Interesting stat on North Carolina that kind of moved the needle to the Virginia side for me. As good as North Carolina has been this year, as we said, they've had 2 different streaks. They're only 1-7 against the spread when they're playing a team with a winning record this year. So I'm going to go ahead and take Virginia plus or minus the points tonight to get the job done.
All right. Well, what are you thinking here, Merrill? Not too far down the road from you in your backyard here at the John Paul Jones Arena, an arena in which, you know, Bennett and Virginia have had a ton of success against North Carolina over the years. What do you like about this matchup here tonight? How are you looking at it?
Well, the first thing that jumps every year when these 2 teams play is the difference in pace, because year in and year out, Virginia obviously one of the slowest, not the slowest teams in the entire nation. That's the case once again this season. 360th tempo out of 363 teams in Division One. And normally the case with North Carolina, they're one of the fastest. They're not quite as fast this year as they've been in years past. They're actually 101. So maybe they're a little more comfortable playing slower. But then again, they're 11-5 after being the national runners-ups last year. So maybe they need to start playing faster like they have in years past. I've always said I think home teams dictate tempo better than road teams. I think this is a good matchup for UVA, and I think it's a good spot for them to get back on track. And as Marco talked about and you talked about, I mean, they've been a big money burner. They've really fallen here in recent weeks, but don't look far. North Carolina 1-7 against the spread on the road. Virginia 1-7 against the spread at home. So no matter who you back tonight, you're catching a falling knife. I think Virginia is the safer falling knife to catch tonight.
All right. Doesn't mind laying it with Virginia. Dave, you and I, we've talked on the show about Virginia all season long. When they were bombing away, they almost looked unbeatable. Shots stopped falling a little bit here. Do you like them to get back on track here tonight?
No, I guess I'm going to be the contrarian here. For me, it's the matchup. North Carolina is just too athletic for Virginia. They were last year, and I don't think that's changed to any extent. So what Virginia wants to do in terms of dictating pace, tempo, I don't think they're going to be able to do it against UNC. I like the way the Tar Heels played against Notre Dame over the weekend. I think that might be a kind of a buy sign of sorts. It's not on my card. Not much is, actually. But I just don't see Virginia as a favorite laying this many to North Carolina. I think on the same problems they had with them last year, and I would look at the Tar Heels in this spot.
All right, we got a contrarian side. We got a couple of guys leaning towards Virginia. Should be a good one in the ACC tonight. Should also be a pretty damn good one in the Big 12 as, oh boy, Oklahoma State, the Cowboys, taking on Kelly Stewart's K-State Wildcats here. -5 now for K-State. The total is 135 and a half, and both of these teams may be exceeding expectations from early on here, but both can play some defense. Tough spot to play here at K-State. Should be packed here tonight, Dave. Are you leaning one way or the other in this one?
Yeah, I think this is a spot where you look at Oklahoma State. It's up to 5.5 now. Look, Kansas State's a great story. They finally got Weber out of there and Arrow up on the Wildcats. They have exceeded expectations so far, and now all of a sudden they're carrying a nice ranking, and the expectations are getting higher for them. They're up 3 really crazy games, and they won all 3. I think that could be I won't say it's a dead spot, but I think they could be up against it tonight against a team that figures to match up well against them. Oklahoma State, look, they turn them all over way too much. They're not a very good offensive team, but defensively they are solid, really good. And I think they can get Kansas State to maybe not be as sharp as they've been offensively. I think this one's going to the wire. And Oak State with the points looks like the right side to me.
Yeah, you know, he's got a point here, Merrill, because it feels like maybe this is a good sell high spot here on Kansas State. But do you trust Oklahoma State offensively enough to get this job done here tonight?
Well, you're definitely getting the better defensive team, as Dave said, with Oklahoma State. You're also getting the team that plays much slower, 212th tempo, versus Kansas State, who plays 82nd. So here again, though, the home team is the faster team. So we'll see if Oklahoma State can slow them down on the road. So far, neutral side and road games, they're 3-4 straight up in ATS this season, versus 6-2 at home. Kansas State has always had a strong home court there in Manhattan, 7-0 straight up at home this year, but they're also 7-1 neutral, so they've been pretty good everywhere. But one thing we talk about every once in a while here is the luck factor, and I always point out that it's not really a good handicapping tool because it's really just straight up win records. And obviously when you're 14-1, you probably have had some fortunate wins. But Kansas State right now is the 19th luckiest team in the KenPom luck ranking out of 363. And what's interesting is that Oklahoma State, your Oklahoma State Cowboys, Joe Ranieri, are 347th out of 363. So a huge discrepancy there. And that does catch my attention tonight in what is somewhat of a competitively priced game. So I think you're right. There might be some value now with Oklahoma State +5. This line opened 3.5, by the way, so it has been bumped higher. And the total is jumping around. Open 138, was down to 135. And as we're doing this live right now at 2:15 Eastern on Tuesday, the Wager Talk free live odds screen is lighting up. We're seeing some buyback on the over now. It's up to 135.5, 136. So total jumping around as we speak. I would lean towards the underdog on the side.
All right, leaning towards the underdog there. And Marco, let's see here. Texas just handled Oklahoma State in Stillwater, and then Kansas State dropped 116 on Texas. I don't know what the hell that tells us here about Oklahoma State's ability to go to K-State and handle it, but are you a believer here that the dog is the play?
The dog is the play here in first show of the year, and I'm going to be dropping some of my Marco-isms, and it's fat and sassy alert for Kansas State, guys. Come on. They're coming off back-to-back road wins in which they went to Texas and went to Baylor. You brought up that Texas game. It's, important to look, how bad they beat Texas, but the average John Q. public is going to look, Joe, and they're going to say, they just beat Texas and put up 116 points on them. And Oklahoma State just played Texas and scored 46. I'm sorry. John Q. Public's going to run to Kansas State tonight. I can't do it. And, Joe, how many times do I say it on when we do bet on it? the other shows, you give me the better defense getting points, and I'm going to line up every time. And there aren't many teams as stout defense as your Oklahoma State Cowboys. This team has held 14 of its 15 opponents to 39% or less shooting from the field. Given that stout defense, given the fact that I got to feel Kansas State's got to be feeling just a little bit too good after those last 2 wins over the 2 premier teams in the Big 12, Texas and Baylor, I got to feel that they're ripe for a letdown. I know this is a conference game and they shouldn't have a letdown, but you know it. These teams can't go through the whole season the same intensity level. I think this is a bad spot for them. I see this going right down to the wire in an ugly type game. I think Oklahoma State instills their pace in this one. I'm going to take the points with Oklahoma State.
Well, in that case, I'm going to have to sprinkle here, Marco. All right, you talked me into it. Oklahoma State, Kansas State, good matchup there tonight. And a pretty good one out west, guys, as we have Nevada taking on San Diego State in what should be, I think, a pretty good test here for both these teams. San Diego State, a 9.5-point favorite right now with a total of 139. San Diego State has looked like absolute monsters and having no problem dropping 80, 90 points on teams. And then we've seen that, Aztecs of old, where maybe they just slow it down in the first one to 50 wins. Do you like them in this spot at home with such a big number here, Dave?
The other team I want to talk about, Nevada.
Sure.
They're a big surprise so far. This team is not expected to be good this year. And here they are playing some real nice ball in the Mountain West. But I think it's a reality check coming up here. I expect some regression on the Nevada side. Numbers big enough to keep me away from betting it. But I think it's a good matchup with the Aztecs. Their home crowd is still one of the best in the Mountain West. I think San Diego State by double digits is a reasonable expectation tonight. So give me the Aztecs minus the points.
Yeah, this is going to be a different animal here tonight, Marco, for Nevada taking on this San Diego State team. They can certainly play some defense here. Is the number too big here, though, for you?
Well, if this would be the old San Diego State, your father's San Diego State when it was the race to 55, yeah. But this is a different San Diego State team. They still play good defense, but they can score this year. And when you look at this game, the knee-jerk reaction, I like when I start to handicap games, I look at all of the lines before I start actually breaking the games down. And whenever I see a line that catches my eye and I go, what? And then I dig a little deeper to see why I feel that it's high or low. When I first saw this, I said, how can this line be this high? You've got a Nevada team that's got a great record. They're first place in the conference, and you're laying almost double digits with San Diego State. Well, then when you tear it apart, you see why. Yes, Nevada's got a great record, but when you compare the two teams' schedules this year, I feel San Diego State has played a much tougher schedule, especially in late November when they played 3 games in 3 days against Ohio State, Arizona, and Arkansas. That's going to make this team a better team later in the season when we get to conference play, we are in conference play, the conference tournaments, and when we get to the big dance. I like coaches that aren't afraid to schedule tough games at the beginning of the year. And that's why this line is what it is. I like San Diego State. I'm laying the wood with them and look for them to win. I've got them winning by 15 or more tonight.
All right, San Diego State, Merrill, what do you think here? Reality check? I mean, obviously, I think the market was a little soft on Nevada to start the season. But what do you think here? They're getting 9.5. Are you buying the dog or the home favorite?
Well, it's the first time they've been an underdog since December 10th. They've been favored their last 6 games, and that game was at Oregon. They lost by 13 as an 8-point dog. So they're definitely stepping up in class here over the past month. And San Diego State, one thing that's really impressive about this team, they've been one of the best teams in the nation the last few seasons. We all know they played extremely slow half-court defense, but as Marco said, they can score this year. and they're playing the top third of the country as far as pace. So a huge shift as far as the way they're playing, and that tells me they've got more athletes than they've ever had as well, and the coaches know it. They can run, they can score. They also shoot free throws better than they have in years past, 73% per game here. I bring that up because Nevada, one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country, 79%, including 81% away from home this year, which is very impressive. So that, normally it'd be a concern here, but with the 9-point spread, Nevada's not likely to be the team getting to the free throw line late in the game. It's going to probably be San Diego. 7's always that magic number we say in, basketball where you stop fouling or you keep fouling. And at 73%, I think they'll hit their free throws and pull away late. Also want to point out that Nevada is one of those teams that has an altitude edge. It's something I use a lot when handicapping college basketball. And it's something I use against San Diego State quite often because they don't like the altitude. But this game is in San Diego, so I think there's a legitimate home edge here tonight, even if the students aren't all back yet. A lot of things pointing towards San Diego State. I think they get a double-digit win in this one.
All right, San Diego State to handle business tonight against Nevada. You got a little something for everyone here tonight. Some great conference matchups on the board. And now it is time to see if there is a game here these guys like maybe a little bit more than the rest. But do want to remind you, of course, if you head over to wagertalk.com, visit Marco today as well as Steve Merrill. Their best bets are available right now at their page. And Dave Kogan, he's the $2 handicapper at wagertalk.com, which means his 5% best bet in the NFL action this weekend, just $2 right now over on his page at Wager Talk. Make sure you guys visit all three of them here as we look to make this an extremely profitable second week in 2023. And Marco, kick us off here, man. Is there a game you like a little more than the rest tonight?
Yeah, it's the last game that we just did. I think San Diego State is in a great spot. Home crowd, playing, the first place team in the conference. They're going to flex their muscles, and I think that Nevada, although they've played great, I think they're a little bit of a paper lion here. As they start to get into a tougher schedule, we'll see them come back to earth a little bit. And that starts tonight. San Diego State is my best bet.
All right, San Diego State getting it done. Merrill, how about it, man? 2 R's, 1 L. Remind the people what you got rolling here tonight and tell us what your best bet is.
Yeah, I hate to repeat the same thing that Marco did, but we're going to use that same play, though. So I'll get to some additional analysis in just a moment here. Going to look at a free play, of course, for Tuesday night, January the 10th in college hoops, and that's because college football finished last night. We finished off with a strong best bet winner on Georgia, one of the easiest winners you will ever have in all of college sports. But there's a lot of easy college winners in basketball over the next couple months as well, and it starts tonight. A 3-pack of winners, 2 in the NBA and a college basketball best bet as well. A 3-for-1 special for Tuesday night. It's not 2 for Tuesday, it's 3 for Tuesday. Steve Merrill, wagertalk.com. By the way, a 40-5 ATS super situation included in that 3-pack tonight on Tuesday. Also, a quick reminder, now that college football is done, I'm going to have my college basketball top 25 video. We always do it Friday night for Saturday's big games, but there's a ton of them on Wednesday as well. I'm going to start trying to get one up starting tomorrow for the college top 25 on Wednesday. So check that out on Wednesday here on Wager Talk TV. Hit the subscribe and hit the bell for instant alerts when those videos go live each and every day. Of course, NFL Fade the Public Playoff Edition will be available this weekend as well here on Wager Talk TV. Download that app on your favorite mobile device. Free college basketball play for Tuesday night, a late game at 11 o'clock Eastern. Going to look at San Diego State minus the 9 to 9.5. Always talk about altitude when handicapping Nevada. They have a nice home court advantage because of the altitude, especially when they play these beach and these West Coast teams. In fact, Nevada is a perfect 8-0 straight up at home this year, 5-1 ATS, respectable 6-3 away from home. But this is a huge step up in class. In fact, it's the first time in a full month that Nevada's been an underdog. They've been favored in their last 6 games, and they've won all 6. But the last time they were a dog was way back on December 10th at Oregon as an 8-point dog. They lost by 13. Now they're a 9.5-point dog against a very good San Diego State team. Has been one of the better teams in the nation for several seasons. They always played half court, good defense, but struggled offensively at times. Not the case this year. They were in the top 3rd in pace and tempo, the top 100 this year in college basketball. They push the pace. That's because they have the better offensive athletes than they've had in a while, and they can score and extend this lead tonight. Nevada shoots 80% from the free throw line on the season on the road, but that's not going to be as much of an advantage tonight because, once again, they'll be playing from behind. San Diego State's the team that's going to get the bonus free throws at the end. They hit 73%, which is also better than they've done in years past. It's just a very good San Diego State team at both ends of the court, and they'll take advantage of Nevada tonight and win by double digits. Take a look at San Diego State minus the 9 to 9.5. Goes at 11 p.m. Eastern Tuesday night. Don't forget 3 strong best bets for Tuesday, a 3-for-1 special. Steve Merrill, wagertalk.com.
All right, Merrill, back in the Aztecs as well. And Dave, once again, very happy birthday this week. $2 handicapper. Go get that 5% best bet, guys, on his page in the NFL for this weekend. Nobody was more profitable on those 5% best bets than Dave. Dave, which game here did you circle for us tonight?
Yeah, and a quick mention of some other specials on my homepage at wagertalkwt.buzz/DC, including one where if you use the code Koken365, you basically get a full year at half price. That's pretty good. Best bet here on the show, got a defensive dog. You've got a favorite, and I think kind of, I won't call it a dead spot, but it's not a great spot. If Oklahoma State can stop turning the ball over for a minute, which has been a big issue for them, they've got a real good chance to win this game. And I think getting 5 or 5.5, it's a decent play. So Oklahoma State with the points as the best bet here in today's show.
All right, Oklahoma State it is. And our friends from the Gold Sheet, they've got to play tonight. They're going to take a look at the Seton Hall Georgetown over in this matchup, as it appears they think it's marketed a little bit too low here. And they're mentioning, of course, how Georgetown is not very good defensively. The metrics aren't great for them. The over is also 8-2 in Georgetown's last 10 games, and 6 of Georgetown's last 7 opponents. They've all dropped at least 80 or more against the Hoyas. So look to back the over tonight in Seton Hall and Georgetown. I'm going to do an over as well here tonight, guys. I'm going to take a look in the Big Ten with Nebraska hosting Illinois here tonight. And we've got a Nebraska team that has played much better at home, least offensively, than on the road. And we've got an Illinois team that's starting to come into their own again. They're dropping 80 or better here, at least in their last 3 opportunities. In fact, the last 3 games that they have played, they have scored in the 80s. I think they do it again tonight, dictate pace. And we are in the 140s when it is all said and done. So I'll take the over with Nebraska and Illinois tonight. And of course, one more time, guys, a recap with Marco D'Angelo making his debut here in 2023 on the College Basketball Tip-Off Show. He's going with San Diego State. He's going to lay that 9, as is Steve Merrill. Dave is going to go Oklahoma State. He'll take those 5.5 points against K-State on the road. I'm going to go over with Illinois and Nebraska, while our friends at the Gold Sheet, they too are going to look over with Seton Hall and Georgetown. And don't forget, take advantage, guys. Opportunities and best bets are available right now at wagertalk.com. Visit Marco D'Angelo's page as well as Steve Merrill's page. And of course, go grab that $2 Tuesday best bet right now. Partner up with these gentlemen. Dave Koken's $2 NFL 5% best bet. Just $2 on his page today at wagertalk.com. All right, guys, much to get to all week long. Now that college football is in the rearview mirror, we got a ton of college basketball to get into. Make sure you come back and join us again tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. And on behalf of Marco, Steve, and Dave, guys, we appreciate the time. Best of luck with all your plays tonight. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Good luck.
Dave Koken turned 70 on January 13th, and we want to celebrate Dave's 70th all week long by offering everyone 7 days of his all-access service for just $70 using coupon code KOKEN70 when checking out on a 7-day all-access pass. That's every play in every sport for 7 days, including any 5% releases for just $70, coming out to only $10 a day. Dave is a legend in this business, with many calling him the GOAT. Despite betting and winning in sports since the Black Sox scandal, he could be enjoying one of the best runs of his career since joining WagerTalk. Look at his lifetime numbers since joining the WagerTalk family exclusively. Number 1 in total profit, number 1 in college football, number 1 in golf, number 2 in NHL, and number 4 in MLB. Just like fine wine, Dave Koken is getting better with age. Happy birthday, Dave, and take advantage of code KOKEN70 and get 7 days for only $70.